Hello, this is Iron Bill back again with another video, and I had intended to conclude the Iron Banner weekend with a video about Iron Banner, but I think that the new content that dropped into the light supersedes that, in particular the community event, the Onslaught event, which is what you see loading into the background here, and I'd like to talk about my first impressions about that game mode. Before we get going. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is the 10-round version here. It's the shorter version. I have done the 50. Dog, Brayton, and I did that last night. Not without issues, of course, because, excuse me, connections were really awful yesterday after the content was dropped and reset, which is typical for Bungie, and we should have expected that. And I kept saying, I'm not going to mess with this until things settle down, but they really were anxious to go, and so I went, and it turned out I was the only person that was able to stay connected the whole time, and they had constant disconnects, and because of that, it took a lot longer for us to get the process done, and it took us 82 minutes, I think, to get it done, but we really had some breaks in there where we had to just stall and wait for a third person to get involved, and at one point, I was the only person left in the fire team. So I want to set that aside and say that really I don't want that to color my impressions too much because I've played today and things are a lot more stable. Although I have seen some connect warnings, I've not actually been kicked out of anything today. Got kicked out a bunch yesterday. So what do I think about it? Well, it's horde mode and it's a wave mode and it's a lot of things that I don't really like in PvE. I'm not really into the progressing difficulty wave by wave by wave. Let's do a bunch of waves because it gets tedious. And it could just be that I have a short attention span or I'm getting old or I don't know what. But I'm just not interested in testing myself that way. It could be that I'm beginning to pull more towards the PvP side of things as I practice, which is what I tend to do. I tend to go completely immersive in whatever I'm working on to the detriment of those things that I'm not working on. And it could be that I'm just kind of sliding away from PvE. I can't say for sure. I do know that the 50-round version, it got pretty tedious after a while, and I was well ready for it to be over. Now, my buddies are probably going to run it again. I noticed that there's a triumph associated with getting 3 different bosses in 3 different weeks, so I'll have to do it every week to get that triumph if I pursue that, which I probably will. It wasn't that difficult to get through 50 waves on the regular version. Now, Legendary might be another thing. I don't know, and I probably never will know, because I'm not that interested in doing the Legendary version to 50. Unless these weapons turn out to be something supreme, and that the only way you can get the really great roll is to go to the Legendary, then yeah, I would be compelled to do that, but it's going to be something like that that makes me do it, because quite honestly, as soon as I get what I want out of this, I really want to shift my focus back hard to PvP. I don't want to lose the work that I've acquired up to this point in time, you know, the gains, and so it's important for me to get back to that, and I haven't played PvP in a few days now. I think it's been 2 or 3 days now, so it's surprising how fast your skills perish when you don't practice, so I need to get back in it. Alright, so back to the Onslaught itself. There are some mechanics, the chief one being that you have to defend this central area, and you have to throw these cells into the central battery, and you can see that there are little storage places for them as it rotates around, and you can tell when you need to put more in because there'll be empty sockets. Also, there'll be a meter around the icon above it that indicates that you're losing shield on it, I guess is what I would say. The blue box begins to deprecate. You'll have different colored enemies that come in, yellow bar, red bar, but the sparkling yellow bars are the ones who have these batteries that you have to toss into the central, or the cells that you have to toss into the central battery. And so you can also, if you look around, you can see these defenses that you have to upgrade, or you can upgrade. You don't have to, but it's better if you do. When you kill enemies, you'll get scraps. Those scraps can be used to purchase upgrades and just outright defenses. So this is the Midtown map. There are, I think, 3 different maps that are currently out. One's in the EDZ, and the other, I'm not sure I remember where it was exactly. but maybe Neomuna. I don't know. They don't play too differently. I wouldn't say that I favor one map really over the other. I think some people will have favorites, but that's neither here nor there. That's a personal preference. In terms of being able to play them, I didn't find any one of them more difficult than the other. Now, these ads will just kind of keep spawning, so you got to be careful where you stand. And that's one of the things that we will have to learn about the maps, is where is safe and where is not. I'm using right now Sunshot primarily, but the bounties might require, and you do need to pick up your bounties before you come here from our site and from Shacks, so that you can progress your rank. But I think I was on a heavy bounty. I need to get a bunch of heavy kills. I was also on strand kills, and I didn't have anything to stop this barrier champ, so I was going to turn around and hit him with that, but he got by, and my teammates took care of him, or about to. And I'm figuring, okay, get him down, and I'll heavy him, or super him. You can typically overpower the barriers like that. Now, this is either the step 5 or the step 10. This is what you see. When you go 5 levels in, yeah, I believe this is the level 5. You come in and you're going to have essentially a rift mechanic, which we're going to see here in just a second. We have to kill these enemies in order to ignite the rift, or ignite the spark. And you'll see 2 marked areas on your maps. You just have to kill all of the enemies in these 2 areas, and then you'll come together again in a hallway behind where we are now. And yeah. So I think we've got... Oh, I shot my teammate. It's right over here. We got to get this guy down. Sunshot works pretty well here on this level. It's as you get upwards of the 40s, things start hitting a lot harder. Okay, there's our rift. I'm going to pick it up. Our spark. And at at level 5, you could ignore all these enemies and just run right at it. And I don't have particularly high resilience on this character. I think it's 7 right now, because this is essentially my PvP build with just a few modifications. And I'm just, as long as this guy doesn't freeze me, there's really not much he can do. And that's that. That's all you have to do. So that's level 5. If it wasn't for stuff like that in here, I'm just telling you, I wouldn't even be able to tolerate the 10 level version. As it is, the reason I'm doing it is because the brave weapons. And the brave weapons, right now, pretty much only drop from here. They drop from a chest at the end of each 10 level segment. And it took us 82 minutes to do 50 levels, which roughly, I mean, we're talking 10-12 minutes for 10 rounds, a little bit more, or I guess it'd be more than 15 minutes, but I'm not good at the maths, I guess. Point being that even if my friends hadn't disconnected, it would have taken a good hour to get that done. And if you're quick on this 10 level, you can finish it in about the 12 minutes, and it's a lot less hassle, and you don't have a whole lot more setup, and you'll get a chest about, every, including flying in and stuff like that, maybe every 15 minutes, if you're quick about it. To me, that puts it more in the strike zone, Vanguard Strike, where you have about the same amount of time investment. Connection issues aren't that big of a deal, because if you miss out, it's not like getting to level 49 and then getting dumped like my friend did last night. Thankfully, they were able to get back in, but that's still a threat. Maybe they might not have, it could have been a really bad deal. In fact, we had a guy that was match made into our team, but somehow didn't quite make it into our team, and he eventually left. I think he just realized he didn't want to be there. And it was lucky for us, because then my friend could get back in. But I digress. 9.5 minutes in. My overall impression of this, just loosely, is that first impression is this is not something I want to spend a lot of time on. I just don't. This is the kind of content that, for the most part, I'll play it for a while till I get what I want, and then I'm going to give it a hard pass. And whether that lasts until June or not, I don't know. I'm more of a story content player, not this just mindless, just shoot stuff that keeps respawning no matter how many times you kill it sort of stuff. I mean, this just doesn't interest me at all. Yeah, but I fully recognize that Horde mode is a very popular thing in the community, especially the PvE community, and this is the kind of thing that people like to play, and I say good on them, you know, that it's there and there's part of the game that they really enjoy, and even if I don't, I mean, I'm glad it's in there, so not taking anything away from anyone, but this is not for me. I can do it, I just don't know that I want to. I wash dishes really well too, but I don't like to do it. Alright, so that said, I think I'm at level 6 or 7 with Shaxx right now, and I've played a couple of hours today. I played to level 50 last night, so I'd say I have 3 to 4 hours invested in this so far. Enough to get a good first impression. It's not on the regular difficulty, it's not very hard. Even as you get upwards, I mean, if your team's coordinated and you're talking, main thing is Extinguish finally does come on and you can't all die at the same time. So as long as you kind of play your life at the end of it, you're going to beat it. I mean, you're going to beat level 50. It's not that hard. The weapons that I've gotten so far, the loot, nothing ground shaking yet. I'm trying to target the pulse rifle, LC rifle, but I've not gotten any visuals with it yet. And honestly, the whole attunement thing, which you're supposed to be able to do, and by that, once you unlock the statues after doing the R-Site quest for the week, you're able to target which weapon you want to mainly drop from these chests, but it is by no means a guarantee. I've run probably 10 of these today, and I got maybe 2. I got 2 additional pulse rifles. And that's not very good, considering that there are only 6 brave weapons in the pool. And next week, there'll be 8, you know, or more, you know. And by the end of the month, there'll be 12. And I got a feeling that you won't notice attunement at all. That's a waste of time. And I was afraid it might be. Thing about Bungie is, a lot of the stuff they show us, like in that live stream yesterday, looks great. You know, I'm really pretty excited about what I saw in the live stream, but I'll be honest with you, it's what they don't tell me that scares me, you know, more than anything else. It's just how this is all going to play out, and to what degree they do what they say they're going to do, and it's always the game with them. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. And with this stuff, I kind of knew there would be some things I didn't like about it. So I'm not real shocked here, and I'm not even really very disappointed. It's what I thought it would be, you know, for this type of content. So if anyone's been around long enough to remember the 30th anniversary stuff, you know, you know what that was like, and this is just more of the same. So with that said, that's pretty much all I have to express on that at this point in time. I want to thank you for watching. This is Iron Bill signing out.